Okay, our next video is over blood sugar imbalances. That was a request from Facebook. Blood sugar imbalances is one of the top causes of chronic health issues in the United States. Basically, blood sugar imbalances or dysglycemia, the main causes of it are lack of activity or exercise and the consumption of high calorie processed foods. And in the United States, our food supply has become quite processed overall. So that's a major contributor. And it's often overlooked in the role of chronic health issues because if it's not associated with some kind of pathology, then they usually don't measure it, or if your blood sugar is slightly high, your primary care physician won't really say anything about it. Blood sugar issues or dysglycemia can be classified into several different categories. There's diabetes 1, diabetes 2, diabetes 1.5. Yes, there's 1.5 now. Metabolic syndrome, hypoglycemia, reactive hypoglycemia, and insulin resistance are the main categories that they're broken down into. Most people know what diabetes 1 and diabetes 2 is. Diabetes 1.5 basically is kind of like diabetes 2, but you don't show the signs of weight gain and some of the other things that diabetes 2 shows. So metabolic syndrome is elevated blood sugar with a lipid profile that's usually elevated. So like your cholesterol is elevated and your your triglycerides are elevated as well. Hypoglycemia just means that you're not getting enough sugar. You're probably not eating enough glucose into your cells. So either you're not eating enough, or you're not eating enough the right foods, or you've got insulin resistance, which means you can't get the glucose into the cell. Reactive hypoglycemia is a result of what we call insulin spikes. So your insulin levels go up, and then your body overreacts, and then they go way down. So you have a reactive hypoglycemia. This is not very good for your system because it puts you into a fight or flight scenario. Your brain doesn't like not having fuel to do its activity. And so when that happens, your brain pumps out cortisol as a response to the stress, and cortisol, now they're finding out the cortisol likes to go up and hit the hippocampus in your midbrain, which is where all your memory is, and that starts the down the pathway of Alzheimer's and dementia or neurodegenerative diseases. And the last one is insulin resistance, which is probably the most common one. Insulin resistance means that insulin is a hormone that helps get glucose into your cell, and when insulin breaks down or isn't working, or you're insulin resistant, then you can't get glucose into the cell, so you have constant low blood sugar or reactive hypoglycemia going on. Like I said, insulin is a protein hormone that stimulates the uptake of glucose into the cells. And insulin resistance symptoms, usually fatigue after meals, you crave sweets, you have difficulty losing weight, and you want to always have a sweet after a meal, like after dinner. So diabetes type 1 is idiopathic, which means you're basically born with it. Diabetes type 2 is acquired, based on lifestyle and inactivity. Diabetes 1.5 is type 2 without the weight gain, basically. And hypoglycemia, too low, not enough food, not enough glucose to get into the cell. Reactive hypoglycemia, insulin spike with reaction equaling low blood sugar. And insulin resistance is basically the insulin imbalance when you can't get glucose in your cell for energy source. So some of the treatments that we do, we look at lifestyle, environment, eating too much carb or processed food intake. We try to set up a plan to manage your situation and overcome your blood sugar, basically breakdown or problems. From an allopathic or traditional standpoint, the main treatment is medication. And if you're taking medications, your body has to process them and break them down. So that's not usually the best way to go, especially when you're dealing with something that's a chronic health issue. So again, this is Dr. Graves coming from Bango Chiropractic and Functional Medicine, and we really want to help people get educated on things like blood sugar imbalances or chronic health issues. So hopefully this is informative for you, and I look forward to giving you the next video, which is going to be on Hashimoto's thyroiditis.